everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to this workshop of ours at the Trans Academy. My name is Savvy, and today we're going to work on how we can feminize or masculinize our voice or even make it sound androgynous. Really, the possibilities are limitless. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty of the voice theory and of the methodology, I need to preface this with some vocal hygiene and some vocal safety tips. So first of all, right now it's allergy seasons and our voices can be quite dry, especially for those of you who might have hay fever, just like truly yours, Savvy. So if you have hay fever and you might take some medications that can help with that, just know that some of these medications can be drying to the voice, and a dry voice will eventually over time sustain some dryness, and that dryness, thanks to the phonation of the vocal folds, will eventually create perhaps some nodules and thus vocal damage. So we have to be really careful not to dry our voice too much, and of course to drink plenty of water. So I did mention hay fever can make the voice a little bit iffy and all that with mucus and whatnot, and medication can do that. That is also the case of spironolactone, a type of medications that a lot of us trans sisters would take. And so, of course, at the end of the day, do take the medication that you need. Don't stop taking what you were prescribed, of course. But just do know that if you do practice your voice, make sure to kind of like work around these things. If you take the medication, maybe don't work like in the hour following that up. Maybe wait a little bit, hydrate yourself properly, at least 10 to 15 minutes before doing any phonation. That is mainly because if you drink water, it does not directly touch the vocal folds. The hydration process will happen thanks to the blood flow that will then give to your vocal folds nutrients and hydration that they require. Now, of course, this goes without saying, but alcohol or smoking are also terrible for your voice. Of course, do as you want with your life. Just try to avoid doing both at the same time. Other things you might want to avoid is, in certain cases, energy drinks or coffee, as caffeine is known to dehydrate the body to a certain extent. Same thing as with the other things. You can do consume those, but just be aware of those potential complications. At the end of the day, it does not make your voice impossible to use, just a bit harder to use and to practice on a long duration. Now, okay, that's pretty much it concerning some vocal hygiene and vocal safety tips. Now, let's get into what voice is a little bit more precisely. So I like to use this power source filter model to explain a little bit what voice is about. So for the new faces in here, let me make this rather simple. You have some air in your lungs. That air you then push up here in this little box, the voice box, that is basically right behind your Adam's apple. This little voice box will then use that air provided by the lungs, and within that voice box, which we call the larynx, you'll find some little flaps that can vibrate. These are the vocal cords, also called vocal folds in a more scientific term. And so once they vibrate, they create a sound. They click really fast, a few hundred times per second, open and close, and they create a sound, which we call the source. That source sound will then move up, bounce around, and reverberate in this resonant chamber. And this will be characterizing the filter part of the voice. Now, simply put, the filter is how much size you have available. If the size is very small, then you're going to get more emphasis on higher frequencies of your voice. And if your size is really big, you'll get more emphasis on the lower frequencies of the voice. This is very easily translated by a sound that can sound very hollow and very big versus a sound that can sound very small and very bright, thus leaning more feminine. So for masc voices generally, we would want to have a bigger size, so a bigger throat space, which basically makes the voice much darker. And for feminine voices, we'll want the opposite. All right, that's how voice works. Push air up, sets vocal folds in motion. They create a sound. the sound reverberates in here, and then we can change the texture of that sound by modifying how much space we have. And that's pretty much it. Now, let's get a little bit more into what we exactly want to change. I'm not here to change your accent. I'm not here to teach you how to use a specific intonation. I'm not here to teach you how you should behave vocally or what words you should choose. That's something, entirely up to you. Accents and other stuff. What I want to teach you is just the bare bones, the baseline. So let's understand, what do I mean by this? I mean that I want to teach you what biologically matters. And technically, what we're going to look at is how much testosterone affects your voice. More simply put, testosterone will do 3 things if it affects your voice. And that goes for both AMAB, AFAB, and everyone on the spectrum, because the spectrum of gender, that is, because testosterone doesn't necessarily impact us all the same way. You might be AMAB, have the XY chromosomes, but yet have little to no, impact due to testosterone. So that depends really from one person to another. Now, what would happen generally in most cases is testosterone would do this to your voice. Your vocal tract would become a lot bigger. The vocal folds would vibrate a lot slower, creating lower pitches. And the vocal folds also are partially muscle. And so these muscles would eventually end up thickening up whilst vibrating, creating thus a much buzzier voice. And this is how we can masculinize the voice, or rather, how testosterone masculinizes your voice. And of course, as you can hear it, we can totally reverse that change. That's the good stuff that we will get into in a little bit. Now, that's how testosterone affects your voice. And in the case of trans masc voices, we'll want to mimic everything that testosterone does to a voice, generally speaking. And in the case of femme voice, we're going to want to move back to what voice we had before testosterone was exposed to us, and then we can do some stuff with intonation and get something that's more behavioral or more like socially constructed rather than biologically. All right. Okay, very good. Now, I did mention before that vocal hygiene and vocal tips, I was pretty much done with that. I lied. Here is the second part of this. When you use your voice, you want to make sure it's properly warmed up. You're not going to run a marathon and not stretch your legs. You're going to die in a second. Okay, die is maybe a huge word, but you get what I mean. It's going to be really strenuous on you, and your muscles are probably not going to like being put under so much effort all at once. The same thing goes for voice, right? Those vocal folds, they have several layers, and one of these layers is muscular. Now, we want to make sure that that layer is also properly warmed up. To do this, we like to use little exercises called SOVTE, standing for semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. Now, if you look at this little graph here, you can see that we have a certain space in our mouth, or rather this one here. We can pretty much close the mouth by, give me a sec. We can pretty much close the mouth by putting the lips in the way, like in an O sound, ooh, which kind of creates pressure in here. Remember what I said, we use air from the lungs, correct? So if we use air from the lungs, we always speak by breathing out air, unless you speak by breathing in. But most people don't speak by breathing in, unless you want to do like some funny cartoon voices or robot voices. So the point of those softies, of these warm-up exercises, is to create a counter pressure at the level of the mouth with the lips, or with the teeth, or with the tongue, in varying degrees. Some of you might already have seen some exercises like using straw in water, or just a straw, period, honestly. So let's try some of these exercises. For this, you can unmute yourselves. And what I will be doing here is I will first do the exercise, then count to 3, and then you can mimic after me. Sounds good? Let's try this. Okay, I go first. Ooh. And you can go in 3, 2, 1. Ooh. And back down. Oh. All right, very good. Now let's try a different one. Let's try Z as in zoo. I go first. And you go in 3, 2, 1. All right, very good. Woo! Very good, very good. Okay, so this is the kind of warm-up that we can be doing. Now, please make sure to mute yourself again so that you can also, practice alongside the people who will be moving up on stage. So if you want to be sure not to disturb anyone. Okay, so as per usual, and for the new faces, what I will be doing today is having up on stage 2 people who want to masculinize their voices and 2 people who want to feminize their voices. If you are interested in masculinizing your voice, please raise your hand, jump in place, or use the hand emoji. Preferably someone who has not been on stage before. All right, do we have any hands raised today? I guess no one wants to sound masculine. Or am I missing someone? Oh, Aster Floofturk? Yeah? You want to sound masc? All right, come up on stage. Come on, come on. All right, big applause to Aster. Okay, hi, hello. Oh, wow, you shrinked. Oh, yep. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. All right. Please make sure that you have your noise suppression disabled so that we can hear your whispers properly. Thus, we can better tune your resonance, your vocal tract size. Okay. Perfect. Now, let's get started. We got 7, 8 minutes now, starting from now. Okay, so Aster, first time here on stage, or have I seen you before?
First time on stage, but not my first time at this at the workshop.
Okay, awesome.
Third time.
Third time already. Okay, let's see. So let's see if experience talks and speaks loud today. So let's get started. I just want to hear a slide from your highest pitch down to your lowest pitch. Give it a try.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As you speak, yeah, you actually go lower. Aha, here we go. Try to hold that. All right. Very good. Let's try a few scales together. I want you to mimic right after me. Oh, okay. Oh. Good.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Let's try this again. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, a little bit flat. That's okay. Oh.
Oh.
Very good. Oh. All right, careful here. You did start higher in pitch again. So you did oh, and then you did oh again. So careful to really keep the lowest that you had. Okay, let's try this again. Let's do a slide. Oh. Oh. Okay, very good. Oh, again.
Oh.
Oh. Very good. Oh. Okay, again. Oh.
Oh.
Careful, you shall back up.
Oh.
Oh, instead of oh. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. We'll get there in time. So pitch accuracy is a little bit difficult, especially if we are talking about pitches that you don't use too much. I mean, given like the range you have shown me, I don't know, like maybe would you feel comfortable with showing me like what voice you usually go for?
Kind of tricky because I've hardly voice trained. I hardly have time or places to do that. So this is kind of just my
That's
normal
totally fair.
voice.
Normal voice. Okay, G3. So it kind of checks off with like the lower end of your voice. Very good. Okay. Now let's try and see if we can get your voice to go a little bit darker. Let's attempt to practice with some of the whispers. How about you say the words pat that cat on a whisper, and it should sound like pat, pat, cat. Give it a try.
Okay. Pat. Pat that cat.
Very good. Pat. Now we're going to try to make that pat sound darker. Pat, 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 pat.
Pat. Pat. Pat. Pat. Pat.
Very good. Pat. Now we have this really big pat as opposed to your starting point. Pat. Okay. Can you try and go back and forth between the brighter version, pat, and the darker version, pat?
Okay. Pat. 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 Pat.
Nice, very good. Now, this helps you build a little bit of muscle memory in terms of how well you can reach a darker resonance, a darker and bigger size, you know, without having to like scale down every time. It's a good thing for exploration to kind of see how far down you can go, how dark you can get. And especially it can help you troubleshoot certain sounds. I don't know, if you say something like, that mad brat sat on that flat mat, you're like, okay, I feel like I sounded really bright on brats. Right? So then you can like try to take that sound, brat, 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 and darken it. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Blah. I thought I was gonna sneeze, but I'm not. So it's this horrible feeling. Okay. Okay. So now let's try to put that to practice into good use. So now that we have this very dark sound, but that got very dark, really big size, right? We're gonna try and get from that whisper, because it is a whisper after all, towards a more balanced, a more full sound. So we're gonna try and go along the gradient of closure. If you do a whisper, your vocal folds are wide open. That's why you don't hear any proper pitch or voice. You only hear the air brushing past the vocal folds. Now our goal will be to close the vocal folds. Although here I did a brighter version. Let's try the darker version that we want to work on. So let's just go back to the dark pat. Give me the bright pat. Pat. Give me the dark pat. Pat.
Right. Pat. And pot.
All right, very good. Pat. Pat. And now try the following. Pot.
Right. Pot. Pot.
Okay, very good. Pot. Now compare it to the same pitch, but with the brighter voice that you would usually do. Maybe something like pat.
Pat.
Very good. So now you have ah, and to compare to that, oh, a darker version. Do you want to try and jump back and forth between those two? Pat, pot.
Right. Pat. Pot.
Very good. And we have ah, ah. So we have like a semitone of difference. It's the pitch moved a little bit, but like there's a huge gap between pa and po, right? So very dark sound, very good. Let's test this really quickly on a little sentence here. Da, 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 da. Okay, do you see the sentences up here?
Yep.
All right, let's try this. Okay, mimic after me. Fat mad brats.
Dot, mud, brat.
Okay, you're already going darker. Let's go even darker. Fat mad brats.
Dot, mud, brat.
Yes, fat mad brats. Very good. And now let's close the vocal fold on the sound that. That mad brats.
Dot, mud, brat.
So careful here, you started on the voice here. You didn't really have the whisper. Right? So really try to have the whisper first so you can hear the dark whisper and be sure that you have a really dark voice. Let's try this again. Yes. And on the ah of that. Thought.
Dot.
Okay, from here. That's mad brats.
Dot, mud, brat.
Okay, compared to what you had before. That mad brat.
That, mad, brat.
That mad brat. That mad brat.
Dot, mud, brat. Dot, mud, brat.
Okay, not quite. Maybe you do need still a bit of time to like kind of set up with those whispers. Again, as you did say, you don't get a lot of time to practice this. So I would say if you don't know exactly when to practice, might I suggest maybe something like, you know, if you have time under the shower, you know, kind of like it's kind of one of those private times where you can have like a minute or two to yourself. That can be like a good thing to like practice your voice in. You don't really get to have tools to like monitor your pitch and whatnot, but yeah, we did get like a darker version of your voice, not quite consistently, but we got a sound here. So definitely do try and practice to see how far down in pitch you can go. And try to practice whenever you can, of course, within reason and within how much time you have. Other than that, do keep practicing on the whisper. Be sure to start on the whisper because a lot of the times you started on the voice, okay? And the whisper will be your guide to know how dark or how bright you are. Have a bright whisper, end up in a femme voice. Have a dark whisper, even before I get into the voice, I hear it. That the whisper is really dark. Okay? All right. Aster, I hope this helped you out. Best of luck with the practice, and I'll see you around. Everyone, give a big applause to Aster.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next up on stage, I want someone who wants to feminize their voices, who might be interested in such a thing. Wait, I don't know how to say your name. Suio? Siwio? Yes? Have you already been on stage before? No? All right, come on, come on. All right, big applause to Swo. I'm not sure how to say this. Please correct me because I don't know how to say your name. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello, hi. So you want to feminize your voice, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We got 7 minutes starting now.
Mm.
Okay, so first time here on stage or just generally in one of those workshops? I think you're muted. I don't know if you heard me or... all right. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is this the first time you're here in one of those
Mm-hmm.
workshops? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you said yes with your head, but I didn't see. My bad. Okay. All good. All good. So let's get started. How about you give me a slide from your lowest pitch up to your highest pitch? Give it a try. Okay, all the way up to very high. We got quite some range. Amazing, very good. All right, without any further ado, let's attempt to practice with the whispers. So just give you a very, very quiet whisper on hello, something like hello. Okay, I was worried that it wouldn't come through. Did you have to do several hellos before this one came through, or was it all right from the first try?
Just one.
Okay, good. I'm just checking if it's ping or if you had to like make your whisper louder. You don't like really want to make your whisper louder generally, so it's a good idea to like try and be as quiet as possible. Hence why I want you all to remove noise suppression when you do move up on stage. Okay, now with that whisper, can you give me a really dark pat that cat? Like the cat is really big and you gotta pat it and it's like, pat that cat. Oh. Give it a try. Yes, very good. And now the cat shrinks, and with that, your voice gets brighter. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, pat, yes.
Pat, 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 pat.
Very good. Pat, pat, yes.
Pat that cat.
Careful here. Pat, that, yes. So on the that, your resonance dropped a little bit. You got a bit darker. So be sure to try this again. Pat, that, cat. All small and bright. All right, this time was a difference. Pat, pat, yeah. So as you sustain the ah, it went darker. All right, let's add a bit of physical awareness. Maybe this could help you. Take your hand in real life, put it on your neck, and see if you feel any bump on there. Don't press down, just see if you can feel a bump of your fingertips. Is that the case?
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome. So now I want you to give me that dark pat that cat again. So like, pat that cat.
Pat that cat.
Very good. I want you to tell me, how did it feel like? Did the little bump shoot down? Did it stay neutral? Did it move up?
It moved downward.
All right, that's to be expected. Now we're going to try again to do pat that cat or do the pat, 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 pat with your hand still there. Okay, I want you to feel it. And I want you to really feel for the pat going brighter. You should feel your Adam's apple move up. It should move up. All right, let's try this. Pat, 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 pats, pat, pat, cats.
Pat, 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 pat that cat.
Very good. Did you feel it move up?
Mm-hmm. Really high.
Awesome. Really high up, indeed, as it sounded like. And so, pat, pat, cat. You get this really small space. But as you are going to start speaking, for example, maybe this sentence, that's mad brats, right? If you read that sentence and you let the Adam's apple trail down, eventually you'll end up becoming darker and getting back to a more masculine sound as a result. So under whisper here, you can listen for that's mad brat sat on that flat mat and try to make all the ahs really bright. Careful not to get that's mad brat sat on that flat mat. And if it happens, just reset, make your voice bright again, and start from the top. Let's try this again. Let's instead of saying pat that cat, we're gonna say that's mad brat. Okay, and okay, very good. Let's try this. That's mad brat.
That's mad brat.
Yes, and let's scale up on that. That's mad brat. Good call.
That's that mad brat.
Awesome. Let's try the whole sentence like this. That's mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That flat.
Very good. And now let's try to close the vocal folds and find a full sound. Let's try this. That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Very good. And now you have that mad brat, a feminine voice, although one at a lower pitch. That mad brat sat on that flat mat. So this one works just fine. But perhaps you might want, and this is entirely up to your preference, a higher pitch, even a lower pitch. Honestly, do you have like any goal voice in mind? Because that technically is already right there. Okay, so either we can keep working on that mad brat sat on that flat mat, but I feel like it's gonna like, be too low for you to have like a lot of variation. So let's try and aim for a higher pitch. Without thinking about resonance or about brightness here, I want you to just try and mimic that pitch. Ah. Oh, it did not come through? Ah. Good. Ah. Very good. Ah. Ah. A little bit higher. Ah. Okay, here, keep that pitch again. Ah. Careful, you're here. You want to be here. Ah. Ah. Okay, even higher. Ah. I heard your slide. You can go up. Ah. Perfect. Stop here. Ah. A little bit before that. Ah. A bit lower. Yes. This is good. Ah. Again. You're moving a bit around, but it's okay. All right. Yes, don't move here. Try to hold it as long as you can. All right, let's try to move up a little bit from here. Okay, getting a high pitch is a bit complicated. So, okay. Give me any pitch. Just how you would start. Okay, the pitch here is ooh, C3. It can work for a femme voice, that mad brat, but it's a bit too low. Let's try and go da da da. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, the 3 was good. The 1 wasn't the same as mine, so I got scared. But you got the 3 right. 3. Can you do that 3 again? 3. 3. Yes, Free. And say, that mad brats.
3. That mad brat.
That mad rat. Okay, not quite. D, that mad rat. E. So there's a little bit of a difference. It's okay. Now from here, that mad brat. We're gonna go back to the whisper. Bright whisper. That's mad brats.
That's mad brat.
Very good. That's mad brats.
That mad brat.
Beautiful. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That's beautiful. Okay. That mad brat sat on a flat mat. Okay. So we're still like around the lower end of fem voice. Let me show you this little graph really quick. Has it loaded for you? Okay. So right now, a lot of the pitches that you do when you aim for a fem voice kind of land in this area. So C3, D3. Now, fundamentally, it's not bad. Like da 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 da. As I showed before, we can go for those lower fem voices. It gives a more mature, more, I suppose, more assertive vibe. It's style of voice. But at the same time, even if you're like down low here at like D sharp 3 and D3 and C3, you might want to like to go up in certain cases to go back down. And so you also want to know how to do a little bit of the higher range so that you can have some intonation. This I feel is something more down that comes down to polish, right? You don't need to do this. You could very much like stay down for like a really monotonous fem voice, right? But chances are, because you're a human, you might want to showcase some emotions and some variation in your voice. So, you might want to say something like, hello, instead of saying hello. It sounds a bit disengaged in a conversation. So what I would recommend for you to work on, and honestly, your ability to manipulate your vocal tract size to get brighter is very good. Okay, I would definitely recommend that you spend some time practicing aiming for that same bright whisper into the voice, trying to aim for pitches at E3, F3, and all the way up to C4 if you can. Okay, so that you can like incorporate brightness really high up in your range and then use those higher pitches as part of your voice. Okay? So far we got up to E3 in terms of the fem voice, so you have pretty much unlocked low fem voices. Up to you to see if you want to practice those higher pitches and so on and so forth. And last question before I'll let you go off stage, how do I call you?
Creo.
Thank you. Everyone, give a big applause to Creo. You killed it. You're very welcome. Have a good one. Alrighty. Now, next up on stage, I want someone who wants to learn how to make their voices more masculine. Anyone interested in sounding like a gigachad? Alright. Any hand or jumps from them transmasc, not even transmasc, but those who want to make their voices sound more masculine. I see you, Weki, you're small, but your will to go on stage is big. Come on, come up on stage, Weki. All right, big applause to Weki. All right, Weki. Hello, welcome.
Can you hear me
Yes,
well?
I can hear you. I can hear you all right. All right, let's get started. I got 7 minutes starting now.
Sorry,
All right,
nervous. It's my
Weki.
First time.
First time in a workshop or first time on stage?
Get both.
Both.
I watched
Okay, that's
the
awesome.
I watched the VODs online.
Oh, hell yeah. Awesome. All right, welcome. What an amazing name, Weki. It's like something you would like scratch, like Wiki. Pretty sleek name, if I may say so myself. All right. Don't pay attention to the graph just now. Oof. All right, let's get started. I see you're hype. You're hyper. So am I. Okay. How about you give me a slide from your highest pitch down to your lowest pitch? Give it a try. Okay. Oh, very quickly we end up like into this creaky sound. Oh, okay. Let's try this again, but let's go slower. Oh. Stop before your voice gets to that creaky sound. Give it a try. Okay. It goes very quickly into creak. Oh. If I may, I've heard you cough a little bit. Are you sick by any non-chance?
No, right now. No.
Not right now? Okay. Not right now. All right. So, creak. Okay. All right. I have gauged your pitch range a little bit. All right. So, it seems like high closure engages very quickly. So, creak is the sound that we get when the vocal folds are really closed. And the air struggles to pass through. Either that, or you're not providing enough air to your vocal folds for them to. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I
All
run out of
right.
breath kind of quickly.
What's up?
I run out of breath kind of quickly.
Okay, actually, I've seen some pitches around F3. Okay, pretty good. We're unlocking them slowly but surely. Very good. Okay. Let's see. Let's do some.
I'm kind of
What's
nervous
up?
right now, so it also kind of
Yeah,
shakes up when I get nervous.
it's okay. They don't exist. They're a figment of your imagination. Sorry. Um, it's okay. It's just you and me up on stage. We're fine. I mean, you and me in whatever world. Don't look at the people. You're fine. Okay, so we're gonna try something different. I want to see how dark your voice can go. Perhaps this could help you relax your voice a little bit as well. So let's give this a try. How about you try and say the sentence, pat that cat on a whisper, like pat that cat. Give
Wait,
it a
hold on.
try.
Hold on, I'm gonna
Sure
get
thing.
some water.
Yep, good idea. Water is good. Water is life. I'm gonna get water some water myself. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ah. Good water. Very good, very good. Okay, let's resume. Okay. Oh, try this. Can you give me a Z as in the word zoo? Zzz. Okay. Just hold the Z sound here. Zzz. Okay. Zzz. Ooh, that's okay. That's very good. You actually got an E3 here. Okay, that's your lowest so far. Very good. E3 is like around here. Zzz. Between F3 and E3. Okay, very solid. Kind of like by accident, but okay, you got some low pitches. I do see what you mean. Stress definitely does make it a bit harder to kind of, relax your voice. And it's a double-edged sword because the lower you want to go in pitch, the slower you want the vocal folds to vibrate. But for that to happen, you also need your voice to be more relaxed. So, yeah, that's also one of the reasons for why, for a lot of us, morning voice sounds so low because we just woke up. So, one thing is there's a really thick gunk mucus in the way that you have to clear out. And well, your vocal folds are really relaxed because they were not used for like several hours. So they tend to vibrate slower. Have you ever observed this, that your voice is generally lower in the morning than in the rest of the day?
Not really.
Not really?
Sorry.
Okay. I guess it depends on the individual. Okay.
That's kind of shaky.
Alright. Shaky is also a thing that could happen. Alright. Try and mimic after me. Pat, pat, cats. Very good. Now let's try to make that pat go darker. Pat, 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 that cat. Okay, good. You shot directly for the dark one. Interesting. Pat, pat. All right, very good. Now compare those two to your ear. Pat that cat. Pat that cat. Okay, very good. Do you hear how distinct they are? Pat that cat, very bright. Pat that cat, very dark. Okay, awesome. So now our goal will be to bridge that. Our goal
When
now
I'm
will be
just-
to. What's up?
Oh, sorry. When I'm just following along online, I'm able to get a lot lower, but when I'm up here, it's more difficult because
I understand. It's okay.
I'm not used to
Let's
talking to people.
let's not think about that too much. All right. Let's just mimic after me. Don't think too much. Pat that cat. Pat that cat. Okay. Directly going darker. Very good. And now let's try to close the vocal folds from here. Pat that cat.
Oh.
Hmm. Okay. We are getting a lot of creak. And so it's like, okay. You get a lot of closure. Is that something very occurring in most cases, or is that just like a now thing because like on stage and all that?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Okay.
Sometimes it's
Be-
fun. It just happens randomly.
Okay. So when it comes to creak, basically creak is what happens when your vocal folds are completely closed. So they're exactly at the opposite of the whisper. So in the case here of us wanting to do a dark whisper and bridge slowly into balanced voice, you're shooting very quickly towards the creak, kind of like, but that cat. Like there's no in between. You really want to take it slow.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. Another thing I can think of is because you have a lot of creak in your voice, there's another way we can practice brightness and darkness. Here, the idea is that with whispers, the vocal folds don't vibrate well enough to give us an information on pitch, as in a balanced setting. Right? If I just whisper, there's nothing to be taken out of that. But that's also true for the creak. Creak will not give us a lot of pitch information, but creak gives us a lot of resonance, of darkness or brightness information. So if you have a lot of creak, you can also try to like change the brightness and darkness of your creak. For example, a femme voice might tend to have a creak like this, whereas a masc voice might tend to have a creak like this. Right? A lot darker. Do you want to try this? Yeah. And from here, pat that cat.
Oh, Palaka.
Very good. But not God. Okay. And then we want to try and open the vocal folds again, or add more air. But let's try to open more. Mm-hmm. That's the right idea.
Like that.
Yeah. Sort of. Like this, like that, like this. Yes, that's the idea. Okay. So, da, 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 da. So right now we have like a lot of creak, and we.
When I do either of those, it just doesn't really feel any different to me.
Okay. The other way you can do this is have your hand on your neck. Can you feel a bump on your neck if you put it on your neck?
Sometimes.
Where does it go if sometimes? Oh. Try doing the bright pat versus the dark pat, and try to feel for the bump.
I guess like around here, so like right here, I think.
Okay. So if you feel for it, do you feel like it's low or high in your on your neck?
Well, it's like kind of in kind of in the middle.
Okay, kind of in the middle. Okay. And if you do the whispers instead of the creak, just pat that cat. Pat that cat.
I can't really feel it anymore.
Okay. Did you lose track of it when it went brighter or when it went darker? Okay.
I don't know.
So, all right, it's okay. I'll let you practice this and I will stop bothering you with being on stage because I know it's stressful to you, so I don't want to put you for more of this. But from what I have told you, you can use either the whispers, pat that cat, or pat that cat to find a brighter or darker sound. In your case, a darker sound. What I would say is try to like go away from creak as much as possible, unless you're trying to like listen for a certain resonance, a certain brightness or darkness with the creak. So, right, as lower pitched creak, quote unquote, like tend to sound much darker. Okay, so yeah, just practice with all of this in the comfort of your own privacy, and yeah, hope to see you around for more of these. You have been really brave. Good work, Wecky. Wecky. Big applause to Wecky for going up on stage. All right, last but not least, up on stage I want someone who wants to feminize their voices. Let's see. All right, I'll take someone on the right side. Yanari, yes. All right, come up on stage. Come on. Big applause to Yanari.
Hello.
All right, hello. First time here?
Yeah, it's the first.
Oh yeah, all right. Let's get started. All right.
You're so
Got. I'm so tall. You're so small.
Oh wait, no, I'm sitting. That's why. There we go.
There you go. Hi. Hello. Hi.
I was like, why do I feel so tiny?
Why do I feel so tall? All right. Welcome. All right.
Thank
so first time here. What's your experience with voice generally?
So for the most part, I don't have too much experience training. I've been trying to work on it maybe within like the last couple months, and not being the most reliable at regularly training, but just every now and then trying.
Okay.
I've
very
watched
good.
a couple of the VODs, so I have some like ideas of where I was starting, but beyond that.
All right. Well, then let's see a little bit what your voice sounds like in terms of range, in terms of resonance. Let's try this out. So how about you give me a slide from your lowest pitch up to your highest pitch.
Yep. Oh.
Ah, beautiful. Awesome. All right. So you have quite some range. Amazing. Very good. Now let's try this time to do a whisper. Can you whisper very quietly the word hello? Something like hello. Hello. Very good. All right. Hello. All right. Now give me the sentence, pat that cat, on a dark whisper. Pat that cat.
Pat that cat.
Very good. Now let's brighten this. Pat, 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 pat that cat.
Pat, 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 pat that cat.
Very good. Awesome. Now compare those two. Pat that cat. Pat that cat.
Pat that cat. Pat that cat.
Very good. Awesome. So now you have unlocked the potential of warping how big of a size of a vocal tract size you have, aka changing your resonant chamber space. Okay, so all right, now our goal will be to whisper, or rather, bridge that whisper into a balanced voice. Let's try this out. Let's say again, pat that cat, but this time we hold the ah in cat, like this. Pat that cat.
Pat that cat.
And now we use that ah sound here. Make sure you have enough air so you don't run out. Pat that cat. Pat that cat. Give it a try.
Pat that cat.
Pat that cat.
Pat that cat.
Beautiful. We're done. All right. See you tomorrow. Okay. Amazing. Very good. Okay. You killed it. Okay. Practice pays off, huh? All right. It's almost as if doing things with your voice does things. Okay.
I know,
so
crazy.
let's. I know, crazy, right? Okay, no, but mad control here. Very good. All right. I want you to mimic after me here. Ah, that mad brat.
That mad brat.
Beautiful. Let's say the whole sentence like this. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Very good. Let's try to modify this. Let's go away from this beep boop bop boop monotonous voice. Let's go into something that sounds a bit more normal. Let's go up. Let's ask a question. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Indeed, what a curious question. But you answer, that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Very good. Careful here. On that flat mat. A little bit dark on the end. Flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Mat. Maybe it's a pitch bothering me. Ooh, it is C sharp 3. It gets pretty low down here. Okay, so very good. Let's try something different. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Very good. Other way around. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Very good. Let's try this. That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Very good. Careful here. That softer. That mad brat.
That mad brat.
Beautiful. All right. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Amazing. Boom. Just like that. Okay, I don't think you need to do the other ones. Let's try. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, let's go for these. How about you try and read some of these sentences? Has it loaded for you?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Let's try to read this with your fan voice.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Beautiful. Hello, good morning. How are you? Careful here, maybe a little bit too much math. How are you? How are you?
Hello, good morning. How are you?
All right, a little better. Careful here. How are you? And at the end of the sentence, you. You can hear a very quiet but trail off of your voice. Perhaps like the resting period right after you're done. So careful here. How are you? And then like go to silence and then you can rest to whatever resting position you have. Okay?
How are you?
Okay, good. Careful here. How are you? How are you?
How are you?
Very good. Here the setup was the H sound. If you get a really dark H, ho, of course it's going to sound dark. You want to make sure the H is how are you? Right?
How are you? Okay.
Awesome. Very good. Let's try the next sentence.
I'll have a cup of coffee, please.
Amazing. You shall have one. Next sentence.
I forgot to take my hormones.
All right, careful here. I forgot to take my hormones. Oh, a little bit too dark here. Mo. Let's try to brighten that sound. Mo.
Mo.
Hormones.
Hormones.
I forgot to take my hormones.
I forgot to take my hormones.
Hormones. Careful.
Yeah.
Hormones.
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Yep, it happens.
Hormones. Yeah.
Okay, not as bad, better here. So might I suggest here you do, I forgot to take my hormone, or hormones, in the case of the first attempt, where you ended up in B2. So generally, when you go to like lower pitches, you have a tendency, not you specifically, but people have a tendency to, kind of like latch on back to what they know and have experience with in their masculine voices, right? So hormones. So like the pitch is C3, C#3, and your brain is like, oh, I know that pitch. I've done it 1,000 times in a masculine voice. Why would I do it in a feminine voice? It's too hard, right? So you could learn to feminize those lower pitches, or could try to avoid them in the first time, or just out of stylistic choice. I forgot to take my hormones. Oh, ending up on G3. Try it out.
I forgot to take my hormones.
Very good. Let's try the next one.
Are you really sure about that?
I am. You have a very beautiful voice. And with that concludes your session here. Good stuff. All right. Big
Thank you
applause
very
to
much.
Yanari. All right, so best of luck for practice. Maybe I shouldn't have applauded too quickly. Oh, just as like a finishing, just as a finishing note for you, your voice is great. I would say the things that you might want to watch out for is your resonance your brightness or darkness being a little bit too dark at the start of the sentences. For example, how are you? Or in the case of take my hormones, right? And I think part of this is kind of like, you're starting like, if you're just starting like voice training, your voice might be idling more to like that like neutral posture. And when you need to set up your voice, you kind of want to silently set up your voice, right? Otherwise, the other way to go about this is to hello, good morning, to get started and hear the shift in like phonated words. So definitely watch out for lower pitches, maybe try to work on getting like a bit of a higher intonation. If you get something like, "Oh, I forgot to take my hormones," where you end up with like really low pitches, maybe try to go up before ending on a low pitch. So, "Ah, I forgot to take my hormones," becoming, "Ah, I forgot to take my hormones." So you don't have to end as low as before. Okay?
Okay.
So play around with
Yep.
pitch. Be mindful of not sounding too thick. Try to go a bit softer at times, right?
Yeah.
Generally, this comes down to,
like with a masc voice, we tend to have more mass to power our voices, because if we didn't, we would sound like that all the time with a masc voice, right?
so vocal fold mass does carry over a little bit into your fem voice. You just want to reduce it, just soften up your voice. And other than that, very good stuff. Just keep practicing at it, and you'll get there in no time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Applause again. I love applauses.
I don't need 2 rounds. No.
You get extra rounds.
No.
You don't get a choice. Okay. All right. And that will be it for today. 1B, Rory, sorry for the delay. Do we have any questions from the Twitch stream or the Discord? All right. No questions on Discord either. All right. I'll take only 2 questions from the audience. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, jump in place, and I'll be answering them. Voice related or, well, yeah, of course. No one has any questions. I guess everyone knows everything about voice. All right. Oh, no. Oh, yes, Jury, you have a question? Come closer. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Do
Do you know
tell.
any way? Do you know any ways? Do you know any ways on how to practice this stuff? Kind of like how to practice this stuff, kind of like discreetly and stuff. Like if you don't really have a space for it.
Okay, so unfortunately, voice makes sounds, so
Yeah, I know. But
it's going to be
I know,
limited.
like, yeah.
But
yeah.
there's a few little things you can do. Unfortunately, it's just like silent practice. I remember when I was working by filling shelves in whatever store I was at, I was doing this thing where I was like silently raising my larynx up, basically kind of doing like pat, 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 but doing it so that like I didn't need to move my lips or to use any whisper or air. I just remembered the motion of my Adam's apple moving up. And so whenever I wasn't, on a super complex task, or whenever there was no one around, I was just like trying to do those exercises on my own. And typically people won't see this. I mean, they might see your larynx move up and down, but they're just going to assume you're either like swallowing saliva or whatever, I don't know, swallowing air. So, I mean, some motion will be something you will see. If we were in winter, I would say use a scarf, but we're in summer, so not the best way to do this. But yeah, just other than like those silent practices to kind of get a bit more time, I don't see other practices that you could make silently.
Yeah, I mean, like I have a mask on most of the time, so there's that too. So like the mouth,
Okay.
so the moving mouth thing isn't really that much of an issue. It's just
That's fair. But when it comes to resonance, when it comes to your vocal tract, your Adam's apple, depending on how prominent it is, maybe yours is discreet. I don't know. I know mine is not that discreet, so people can see it move up or down, right? So they'll see like a bump going like, what? Oh, up or down, basically. And that's okay, honestly. People don't pay attention to that too much, generally speaking. So yeah. If you have the mask, you can like do extra like lip motions to kind of like make sure you get like the right words, like pat that cat, pat that cat. Remove as much air, and you got yourself a practice here. All right.
Thank you very, very much.
You're very welcome. All right. I'm gonna take a second question. Oh, 1B. Yes, we got one from Discord.
Yes. Kisara from Discord asked, does age beyond teen years affect success rate with vocal feminization? Or reworded, is it more difficult to feminize for someone in their 30s versus their 20s? Or is it only the early teen years that causes problems?
Oh gosh. That was like a billion questions. Okay. Teen years that cause problem, yes, if there is testosterone exposure and your larynx is still, growing, dropping, your vocal folds are still, getting affected, getting thicker or vibrating slower. Teen years are a mess because your voice is kind of like restructured due to the exposure to testosterone or generally for people who don't have a lot of testosterone exposure, that's not going to matter a whole lot. Then when it comes to like using your voice past the teen years and 20s, 30s, it doesn't matter as long as you have had like a little bit of practice, before getting into voice training, like voice acting or singing or just mimicking things around you, kind of builds up that kind of like brain to voice kind of like link feedback loop. So if you're typically like in your 30s and 40s and you've never used your voice beyond just communication, then you might have a bit of a harder time. It's more about it's going to take more time to like create new neural pathways. Some say the brain stops, changing after the age of 25. That's not true. It's still evolved. You can still shape it very much. And that's also true for the voice. It's just a bit more tricky to do so. So yeah, I hope I answered these questions properly. I don't know if I missed an aspect of it, but no, age does not matter. Well, there is one case. If you're like around 60, 70 and more, then there's the chance that you can have false vocal folds that come into play. So like kind of like a form of tension that can happen from age. Because as you age, the vocal folds, they basically have a cartilage that allows them to close. That cartilage ossifies with time. So cartilage becomes bone, and bone doesn't like to move as much. And this is why in like the typical grandpa or grandma voices, you'll get to hear like a voice like this,
Or a voice like this.
and that's due to the false vocal folds on the sides helping the closure to happen, but they also create that distortion. So unless you're like very old, you don't really need to worry about that. All right, hope that answered your question. All right, I saw someone who was getting ready for a question in the audience before. I'll answer that one and then we'll be done. Okay, I guess that person is maybe AFK. Jenny Bean, come close.
So,
Alright.
let's
Yes.
say if you want to have like a lower voice, I'm guessing the feminine annotations are like more important if you want to pull off that lower kind of feminine voice, or is there like a combination of other things?
When you meant lower voice, you meant lower feminine voice, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so with lower feminine voices, there's like this double challenge of like you also have to like fight against the behavior of what you know of your masculine voice, right?
Like, if you know how to speak like around that pitch range in a masc voice, like
Even if I can like feminize that pitch, right? There's still like a little bit of my brain who's like, okay, I know these pitches generally correspond to like
a more masculine sound,
so if I'm not careful, there might be like a trail down to like
that darker voice.
although with time you kind of normalize what is your common voice or like your natural voice, right? So for example, I don't have to do as much effort as I used to at the start of my voice training to get here, right? This is my new norm. I have to consciously think if I want
To go like to a masc voice, right? It doesn't
come naturally to me. So for fan voices, sorry, generally lower pitches require your vocal folds to vibrate slower, right? With a slower rate of vocal folds, we have a tendency to also include more weight, more vocal fold mass, right? It's that buzziness that's really like characteristic of like masc voices, right? Like
a masc voice like this is really thick versus a masc voice like this that is really soft, right?
so the goal would be to like end up at a low pitch, stay very gentle, very soft. Like one good idea for this would be to not push as much air, right? So like have a slow rate of air rather than like bursts of air that tend to increase the weight more. And of course, things such as resonance, so the size of the vocal tract has to stay small. It doesn't have to be as small as for higher pitches, generally. Mostly because if you have this pitch, oh, this is a D3, right? You can actually do different brightnesses of this. Oh, and even if I make my voice really soft here, it sounds a bit off, kind of like a slightly like kind of goblin vibe, right? Like I'm not even really thick, right? But I feel like being a bit darker here actually serves the purpose of the voice more. There is some explanations for this that I won't get into here, but basically you don't require as bright of a voice for lower pitches in a femme voice. So don't try to go for like the brightest, smallest voice possible on lower pitches. Always ask yourself, is that bright or dark in regards to a masculine voice or a feminine voice, right? Because that's the like mental landmarks that you have for your voice. Okay? All right, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, well then, we will be wrapping this up. All right, everyone, please say bye to Twitch. Bye, Twitch! Thank you for following. All right.